Hello, just behind me, the German company MVV want to build one of the largest incinerators in Europe. This mini documentary explains why this would be a disaster for the people of Wisbech and the villages, a disaster for our region, and a disaster in the fight against climate change.
Just to give you an idea of how high this incinerator will be, the main building would be 55 meters high, twice as high as the building to my left. The chimneys alone would be almost twice as high again at 95 meters. The chimneys are so high that they have to have lights at the top to stop aircraft crashing into them.
Wisbech is a small market town of just over 30,000 people. An incinerator of this size would be completely out of place and totally dominate the historic landscape.
To keep this monster fed, 387 lorry movements per day will travel hundreds of miles from 9 counties, bringing 625,000 tonnes of waste per year into Wisbech. There will be a constant convoy of lorries arriving between 7 in the morning until 9 at night here, at peak times at a rate of 1 to 2 lorries per minute. Many of these lorries will leave laden with toxic ash from the furnace. Our roads are simply not built for this volume of traffic. The nearest motorway is 30 miles away. We only have 2 A roads. The A1101 running north-south runs through the surrounding villages and is little more than a country lane. The other A road, the A47, running east to west into Wisbech, isn't even a dual carriageway and is already gridlocked most of the time.
MVV say that one of the benefits of building this incinerator is that it will create 40 jobs. What they fail to mention is that it will lose us hundreds more jobs, as food factories, which are so prevalent in Wisbech, will have to close down and move away. And who can blame them? Who wants to operate a super clean food production facility right next to a mountain of rotting and stinking household waste?
MVV claim they'll sell the steam generated from burning rubbish to local industries, such as this one. So far, none of them have signed up to buy this steam. They realise that there's another cost to buying it, and that's the cost to their own businesses of congested roads with 387 lorry movements a day and a poor quality of their working environment. The smell of rotting waste is not worth a small amount of steam at any price.
MVV state that there is a need for incinerators this size to reduce the amount of waste going to landfill. They fail to mention that there is already legislation going through Parliament to do exactly that. The new Environment Bill legislates for all local authorities to dramatically reduce waste destined for landfill to only 10% by weight.
The Environmental Bill makes it mandatory for all local authorities to collect food and green waste separately so that it can be put into biodegraders to create compost. This alone will reduce landfill by 25% and at a stroke remove all the major source of climate damaging methane.
The new Environment Bill will also make manufacturers change their packaging so that they use only recyclable materials. With these measures in place, natural recycling targets will exceed 65%. In a short time, there simply won't be enough rubbish to burn.
This dramatic reduction in waste available to burn is confirmed by UK Wind's own figures that show that incinerator plants in operation now, by 2030, will be short of burnable waste by 9 million tonnes per year. Building a massive incinerator in Wisbech is totally unnecessary. There simply won't be enough waste to burn.
The consensus between leading scientists is that greenhouse gas emissions such as carbon dioxide contribute to global warming and climate change. Governments from all over the world are desperately trying to reduce the amount of CO2 that is produced. In the UK, there is an ambitious target to be carbon neutral by 2050.
The proposed Wisbech incinerator will release 625,000 tonnes of CO2 per year. This goes against government policy to reduce CO2 emissions, and rather than help prevent global warming, will make it worse. MVV counter this by saying that burning all that waste will generate electricity, but just 20 of these will produce the same amount of electricity, only cleaner.
Carbon dioxide is not the only thing that will come out of this chimney. There will be toxic heavy metals such as mercury, arsenic and lead, and many others. Yes, the Environment Agency set limits, but they are not zero. These toxic heavy metals will be constantly released for up to 40 years from the chimney to fall into the surrounding soil. This area relies heavily on horticulture and farming. Do you really want to eat fruit laden with toxic heavy metals? I know I don't.
So there you have it. The case against building this incinerator is overwhelming. Loss of jobs, gridlocked roads, increased traffic pollution, climate change made worse, poisoned farmland. On top of all this, in the immediate future, there just won't be enough rubbish to burn. The new Environment Bill will by law increase recycling levels and drastically reduce landfill. The only people who want this are MVV, but then they would, as they don't care about people, just profit.